Before you got here, Susan, I was talking to Caren about her lung cancer. She was diagnosed, that was December 12th, 2006. Her life changed. Found out it was stage 4 lung cancer. But here we are 6 years out after your diagnosis, and you're still here. You got a diagnosis of maybe not even 2 years that you were going to live. When
initially.
If you look up stage 4 lung cancer, it says what?
It says this is not good.
Yeah,
you're not here for, basically if you have this, things are not good, and get your affairs in order. And that's one of the first things we did when we left is let's see a lawyer, let's make sure that all our paperwork is as it needs to be.
We've been talking to Susan for a little over a year now. The last time we spoke was about 2 months ago, and Susan had opted not to continue with her chemotherapy.
Well, about 3 months ago I did stop.
And she just was getting into a hospice program. And here we are 2 months into what you gave yourself. You said about 6 months. You thought
that's what they said.
The doctors tell you about 6 months.
About 6 months.
I see no change. I was just watching the video. I see no change. You still have the great light, the energy.
Oh, thank you. It is a big change, though.
Tell us where we are now.
Well, actually, I didn't just stop the treatments. I actually stopped working, and the treatments themselves were really I'd had too many treatments. And they were messing with my heart real bad. They were messing with everything. I was getting pretty sick from them. I felt like if we tried another one, it would probably kill me long before just leaving it alone. And most of my doctors agreed. Last week I seemed to hit a transition, and all of a sudden, about a week or a week and a half ago, I started having a lot of pain. So now I'm on a lot of pain meds, and it's my whole back, it's in my heart, it's all over the place. Just, my back and all this. And my hospice nurse came over Friday morning, and what I was describing, and also a lot of fatigue. I'm so tired. I actually had to be dragged out of a nap to come out here and do this. I'm so tired. But they said that we're no longer talking about months now. We're talking about weeks. And she said, no, I'm not talking 2 or 3 weeks. I'm probably talking 4 to 6 weeks maybe. But whatever it is, just know that's where you are now. And she said, keep working out. Keep doing your thing. Keep doing whatever you can, but get as much rest as you can, because otherwise you won't be able to do it.
What's your workout schedule now?
I mean, I had to cut back so much. I hate it. I'm only at an hour a day, hour and a half a day.
You're a queen of the spin class for quite a while.
I love the spin class. Do you take the spin classes?
I hate the spin class.
I love them. I love my crew. Well, I have 2 reasons for working out. One, I do believe that the fitness, they know for sure. There's no way I'd have lasted this long without.
Yeah.
That's the only way I tolerated all the treatment. But the other thing is, I have a crew there. I think I've talked about my crew, especially in cycling. The group gets so close in cycling. It's so much fun. You have to be there an hour early to get a bike.
Really?
Oh, yeah, you're not getting a bike. For most classes, not all of them. And if you're going to be there already, you might as well socialize. So we were all like, on Monday, it's so hard for that instructor to get us to quiet down because we haven't seen each other all weekend. It's wonderful. So the crew is a big part of mine.
If you don't show up, what happens?
I get emails and phone calls. I have to text my teacher, whoever the teacher is, Caren, Pam, Sheila, who else? Joan. But I have to text my teachers ahead of time. Otherwise, so that they can announce to the class, just so that I don't get home.
That's wonderful.
Isn't it wonderful?
That is wonderful.
But we're all like that with each other. Yeah. We all know if somebody else is hurting. If it's a birthday, they're going to have to cycle the whole time with a hat on, and everything.
Caren, how is the exercise worked into your routine? Tell us about it.
3 times a week is what I aim for, and I've worked my way up so that I can now get onto that pre-core machine and do that with my knees, and leg presses and extensions and things like that to keep my knees to try to get the muscle structure stronger, and then some upper body stuff. I have a shoulder issue, so I have to be nice to my shoulder. But the other part of it is that they have been incredibly supportive with Run Amok, which was my fundraiser that I started here. Run Amok with the Duck, right. Crackers the Duck. I contacted them and said, I'm thinking maybe I would start a 5K here in Gainesville, and they jumped right on it, said that would be great. And one of the very first people that I came to was Debbie Debbie Lee here,
Oh, okay.
and asked, what could they do to, what suggestions might she have. I had ideas of my own, but they let us immediately come in and put our stuff out the weeks before. They put us up on their bulletin board. They put us on their calendar. They put us, they've just been very, very supportive from day one, and that's been wonderful.
Is this going to be an annual event?
Well, I've done I just finished the third
Okay.
one. Just finished the third one, and we raised, the number just flipped over this weekend, over $60,000 here in
Congratulations.
Gainesville.
Congratulations.
So we are big time for the foundation. We've done better than Chicago, New York,
Wow.
Boston. We've done really well.
How do the ducks work into this?
Yeah, really.
Crackers the duck is I should have brought Crackers with me. Crackers the duck went to medical school with my son Pete. He's like a little knockoff Beanie Baby. And he went all through medical school with Pete. And then one day when we went traveling, we were in Europe, I opened my suitcase and the duck was in there as a stowaway because he wanted to travel. So he's been to Italy, he's been to France, but he's now been many places. He's been to the top of Mount Kilimanjaro with my boys, and Mount Rainier and South America. Is a very well-traveled duck. When I was diagnosed, he arrived in a FedEx box in green scrubs.
Oh.
And out of a hanger, my son had made an IV pole and a drop bottle. And on the drop bottle it said Taxol, Carboplatin, Avastin, which were my drugs.
I've done all three.
And it said a note, and it said, "Tell Dr. Gordon I'll have what she's having."
Oh.
So Crackers has been to every one of my chemotherapy sessions. He comes on the tray, I sit him down, I put up his IV pole, and that's the duck. And he travels with us. He just goes to many places. We've had him for 16 years, but he's been with me since my diagnosis.
And he's the mascot for the race now.
He's
too.
the mascot. Well, I had to come up with some kind of name, and let's run for lung cancer. Just sort of didn't do it for
I like
me.
to run him up with a duck.
So run him
That's
up with the
adorable.
duck, and it was so funny because I have people stop me and say, "When is Run 'em Up coming?" So it's much more catchy. It's one of the few creative things I've ever done in my life. Come up with that name.
Do you ever have people ever ask you for advice?
Oh, yeah.
You've seen so much. You've been through
Yeah.
so much. Tell me some advice that you've given.
The first advice is there are places where you can get help and you can talk to people. You should talk to people. You should seek them out. But I've spoken to many people, and inevitably you meet somebody who says, "Oh, my mother-in-law was diagnosed with this. And she started dying. She died from the day of her diagnosis till she actually died." And I always say, I want to continue living with lung cancer. I don't want to say, I'm dying from lung cancer. I want to continue living with it. And I will do that as long as I can and live the quality of life that I can.
Susan, how about you? What advice do you give people? Because
Yeah.
you're sort of winding down right now. And
Yes, I'm going to
I think I've just been so amazed getting to know you and to love you.
I love you too.
That your amazing spirit, even though you're facing some of the final hours, and I don't know how I would take that. Help us through this a little bit.
I would agree with Caren a lot with your attitude. I made a decision from day one that this thing, I wasn't going to be a victim. That I don't know, I was going to get up every morning and tell the Lord, thank you for today, and just give him everything I had. And a friend of mine had told me, she said, I think we talked about this before, the 5-minute pity party. She said, allow yourself a 5-minute pity party every day. Just 5 minutes, that's all you get. You can't add them up. So I always thought that was a really cool thing. So I didn't need it that much. I do have a very, very strong family. My husband's over there. And friends. I've got tons of friends, especially at the health center. And mostly, as you know from my other talks, and we've talked about it, my faith is probably the majority of it. My faith in the Lord is, I just know that he's walking with me. And that, to me, makes a difference. It's a close walk, and knowing I'm not here by myself, doing this all alone. And I'm not afraid. And it's been amazing. Even now, I thought by now, at this point, I'd be like really starting to first of all, maybe I'd be getting angry or frustrated because I can't work out like I used to, I've done so much, but I'm not. It's the joy and the peace I have is just, I can't explain it. But the advice I'd give people is be real. In other words, just be real. Just be who you are, be what you are. And for me, it's get up every morning and tell my Lord, tell God, thank you for another day, and just make the best out of it. Just go on and push. There are times in treatments that I don't feel like getting up and going out, and Michael would drag me out of bed and put me in the car and take me over there because they knew how much I loved it. So keep doing the things you love. Get up every day, stay busy. Wouldn't you say stay busy?
Oh, absolutely.
Do all the things you love to do until, not when your brain thinks you can't do it, when you actually can't do it. Because I know there are so many times that I could easily put the cover over my head and get into bed and say, forget it. But I have to push it back down and say, okay, I can do this, and get out. And once you get going, you're good.
Caren Gorenburg and Susan Wright, thank you for sharing your stories with us. And we, as all cancer survivors, will certainly band together.